Welcome back, everybody, to the Cleveland Cavaliers MyLeague here on NBA 2K21. Today, we will be covering the free agency portion of the 2020 offseason. Last episode was the NBA draft, and I worked super hard on that episode, if you could not tell by watching that episode, and I really appreciate all the support. Our Cavs, of course, selected Obi Toppin with the 5th overall pick, and that will bring us to the free agency episode. So I have officially found rosters that we can use for our MyLeague with all of the new rookies and a lot of contracts updated. So the person who made this roster, which is the 2020-2021 rooks and free agents, all of the contracts for the free agents are edited and some of them are assigned to new teams. There are currently 10 rookies in this save file and none of them have good faces. So I copied the DNA of rookies from another roster where their faces look a lot better and transfer them over to here. I really like the copy and pasting DNA feature in 2K because I find it actually really useful. So now we'll get A, more rookies, and B, better face scans of the rookies who were already in the save file. So this is the official save for our Cavs MyLeague, I suppose, as we now advance to free agency. Obviously, the 2020 free agency class is not a particularly good one. If you want to pause the video to get a better look at this graphic, feel free to definitely do so. But obviously, the only superstar in here is Anthony Davis, who has a player option. And Anthony Davis' free agency hasn't really been talked about because I think it's fairly clear that he will return to the Lakers. We'll go position by position briefly. At point guard, it's a very weak class. Outside of Fred VanVleet and Goran Dragic, there are no really headline names, if you will. Shooting guard, not a whole lot of big names at the top, but it's super deep. At small forward, you do got some big names. Brandon Ingram, who is restricted. DeMar DeRozan and Gordon Hayward are both on player options. Hayward will definitely accept that. Power forward, there's a lot of talent. Obviously AD, but you also got Gallo, Davis Bertans, Paul Millsap, Jay Crowder, and others. And then at center, Montrezl Harrell is a big one. Obviously, Andre Drummond from our team, Christian Wood, and others. For our Cavs specifically, we have 4 free agents. Center Ante Zizic, who left for the European League, so he's not coming back. Center Andre Drummond, who's accepted his player option, so he's going to be back. And the only other 2 are Matthew Dellavedova and Tristan Thompson. I don't see a need to bring either of those players back. Knowing Dellavedova, he'll find his way on this roster again, but for right now, I don't think he's needed. So without further ado, let's see who the Cavs sign in free agency. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the Cavs have signed multiple players, including wing Jakar Sampson, to a 1-year minimum contract. Not a big name here, but I think a guy who could contribute off of the Cavs bench this season is a 3-and-D guy. He's been mostly an end-of-rotation player for most of his career. Did average 20 a game once in Chicago, but that was like when he played 4 games that year, and this was in April when the Bulls didn't try, so that's why. The next one is point guard Kadeem Allen. Once again, not a big name, but a guy who could contribute off the bench. He is also being signed to a 1-year minimum contract, according to Woj. Allen hasn't really found his footing in the NBA yet, has had some off-the-court issues as well, but maybe the Cavs can develop him. Let's go to the big name Cleveland is signing, and yeah, it's not a great player, but an interesting one, and that's wing Josh Jackson. A 2-year contract with a player option for the second season. He'll be making $6 million this year and next year if the option is accepted. Jackson was a top 5 selection a few years ago, and maybe he just needs a new change of scenery. The Suns didn't really work out, neither did Memphis, so maybe Cleveland is where he can tap into his full potential and become a star. Let's look at the rest of the NBA, see what happened during this offseason, starting with the 76ers, who found a way to get even more dysfunctional by signing Carmelo Anthony and Dwight Howard. They also added Jeff Teague as well. This is a super important offseason for the Bucks. They got to convince Giannis that this is the place to stay. Their only real move is signing DeMarcus Cousins. They better hope they're getting Sacramento Kings DeMarcus Cousins. Isaiah Thomas returning to the Celtics. I didn't really see this one coming. I know him and Danny Ainge don't have a great relationship anymore, so that one kind of surprised me. The Clippers have found a way to get themselves even better by taking Serge Ibaka and Jay Crowder away from a pair of Eastern Conference contenders. They did lose Montrezl Harrell, however. He signed with the Memphis Grizzlies, 3 years, $54 million, which I think is pretty team-friendly, to be honest. So Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, and Montrezl Harrell as now the big three of the future in Memphis. Miami Heat did lose some pieces. No more Jay Crowder, no more Goran Dragic. However, they have added Danilo Gallinari, former Cavalier Tristan Thompson, along with sharpshooter Joe Harris. So this Miami Heat team looks different, but they should still be pretty good for the most part. Next up, we got the Charlotte Hornets with one of the more under-the-radar signings, that being Harry Giles. I think he got a little bit overpaid, but I think he's another guy kind of like Josh Jackson. Maybe a change of scenery can help him tap into his potential. The New York Knicks struck out again. Their biggest offseason acquisition is Willie Cauley-Stein. The Lakers, I don't know how they had the money to do this, but they signed both Hassan Whiteside and Goran Dragic. Not to mention Anthony Davis signed a 4-year max extension. So he's not going away anytime soon, and I think the Lakers are the easy favorites for the championship. The Clippers also lost Marcus Morris, I forgot to mention. He signed with Dallas, so they get themselves even better. The Pelicans add Enes Kanter. Not a huge move, but a pretty significant one. Christian Wood got a pretty team-friendly deal, only $30 million over 2 years. The Pistons also added Jabari Parker, Nerlens Noel, and I believe Derek Jones as well. Fred VanVleet sticking in Toronto, 4 years, $84 million. DeMar DeRozan accepted his player option, so he will be staying another year in San Antonio and become an unrestricted free agent in 2021. The Timberwolves gave Malik Beasley a nice extension. He played really well ever since he was acquired by the Timberwolves. I'm curious to see if he can keep that level of production, especially with Anthony Edwards. The Blazers added Derek Favors. I think Portland's going to be good this year, especially with a healthy Yusuf Nurkic. And then the Golden State Warriors. They're obviously a team to keep your eye on. They did not make any significant moves in free agency. They obviously did draft James Wiseman, who has not been traded. He is on the roster. Curious to see if they potentially try to trade for a star. Maybe Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't really know. So here's a look at the lineup going into Season 1 for the Cavs. The guards are going to be Sexton and Garland. The front court's going to be Love and Drummond. That all makes sense. I had a tough time deciding the starting small forward between Cedi Osman and Kevin Porter Jr. For right now, I'm going with KPJ. However, I'm willing to switch him and Osman out of the starting lineup. And then the main guys off the bench will be Larry Nance, Obi Toppin, Cedi Osman for now, along with Josh Jackson and Dante Exum. Going to try to see if Kadeem Allen and Jakar Sampson can get some playing time here and there as well. And also Dylan Windler. Probably going to have him in the G League to start the year, and then maybe December, January, call him up to the NBA. So that'll do it for today's episode. Definitely expect the Cavs MyLeague episodes to be uploaded more frequently now that I have a roster. Next episode will be opening day against the Orlando Magic. Hope you guys are excited for that. I know I am, and I'm excited to actually get this series kicked off into high gear. I'm out. Peace.